Caty for a great match, being a great sport. It's one of those matches that I really could have gone either way. I think it was really down to details and a little bit of luck. So give her flowers, guys. It was a really great match.
Alex Eala just delivered one of the gutsiest performances of her career, and it took nearly 2.5 hours of pure drama to get there. The Filipina tennis sensation battled through a roller coaster three-set thriller at the Canadian Open, outlasting American Caty McNally to punch her ticket into the round of 16. The final score read 6-3, 5-7, 6-4, but those numbers barely capture what actually happened on that court in Toronto. Playing at Sobeys Stadium on Friday, which was already early Saturday morning back home in Manila, Eala found herself in a dogfight from the very first game. McNally, ranked number 38 in the world, came out firing and grabbed an early 3-1 lead in the opening set. It looked like it could be a rough start for the Filipina star. But then Eala flipped a switch. She reeled off 5 straight games in a row, turning that early deficit into a commanding 6-3 set win. Just like that, momentum was hers. Set 2 is where things got really intense and really physical. Eala built a 3-2 lead, but disaster nearly struck in the 5th game when she took a hard tumble on court. She needed a medical timeout right then and there, having her right ankle taped up by the trainer before she could even think about continuing. It was the kind of moment that could rattle any player, but Eala pushed through the pain and kept fighting. After the injury scare, McNally capitalized, winning the next 2 games to move ahead 4-3. But Eala wasn't done. She held serve to love to level things up, then broke McNally to surge ahead 5-4. She was 1 game away from closing out the match right there. And this is where the drama really peaked. Serving for the match, Eala suddenly lost her rhythm. A string of unforced errors let McNally storm back to 40-love. There was a brief glimmer of hope when McNally sent a forehand wide, but Eala herself then netted a forehand of her own, handing over the game. McNally wasn't finished either. She broke Eala to love in the 12th game, forcing the match into a decisive 3rd set. Now, most players might have crumbled after blowing a match point like that. Not Eala. She came out of the gate swinging, breaking McNally's serve immediately in the very first game of the 3rd set to seize back control. She built her lead up to 5-3. McNally held on to keep the match alive a little longer, but Eala wasn't letting this one slip away twice. In the very next game, McNally sent back-to-back forehands wide, and just like that, the match and Eala's spot in the 4th round was sealed. Speaking afterward, an exhausted but relieved Eala admitted just how brutal the battle had been, saying she felt like she'd survived it more than won it. She reassured her fans that her ankle was fine despite the scary fall, and she made a point of praising McNally, calling her a great sport and acknowledging just how close the match really was, saying it genuinely could have gone either way, coming down to small details and a bit of luck. One thing that clearly meant the world to Eala was the crowd. Toronto once again saw a loud, passionate contingent of Filipino fans cheering her on from courtside, and she got visibly emotional talking about what that support means to her. She said playing in front of them is amazing and that their energy gives her the motivation to keep pushing for one more match, making every win feel that much more emotional. Her reward for grinding out this win? A blockbuster round of 16 matchup against Switzerland's 12th seed, Belinda Bencic. And Bencic had to survive her own marathon battle to get there. She outlasted American Taylor Townsend in a grueling 3-hour and 24-minute war, winning 6-7, 7-6, 6-4. That's set up to be an absolute battle. Now, Eala wasn't the only storyline in Toronto worth talking about. Reigning Australian Open champion Elena Rybakina also punched her way into the 4th round, while French Open champion Mirra Andreeva suffered a stunning upset at the hands of Canada's own Leylah Fernandez. Let's start with Rybakina. The world number 2 from Kazakhstan made quick work of American 20th seed and Lee winning 6-2, 7-5 in just an hour and a half. She was clinical on the break points too, converting 5 out of 6 opportunities while only allowing 2 breaks against her out of 4 chances. Rybakina, who also has a Wimbledon title from 2022 under her belt, will now face Russia's Ludmila Samsonova in the next round. Samsonova herself had to grind out a win over Australian Maya Joint, taking it 7-5, 6-7, 6-2. But the real shocker of the day came from Leylah Fernandez. The 30th seed from Canada took down 5th-ranked Russian sensation Mirra Andreeva, a 19-year-old and the reigning French Open champion, in straight sets, 6-1, 6-4, and she did it in just 80 minutes. What makes this win even sweeter for Fernandez is that it snapped a 7-match losing streak she'd been carrying against top 10 opponents. That's a massive confidence boost heading into her next matchup. And speaking of massive matchups, Fernandez now gets the honor of facing 4-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka. The 11th-seeded Japanese star cruised into the next round herself, dispatching Belgium's 20th seed Elise Mertens 6-1, 6-2 in just 71 minutes, an absolutely dominant performance. So, as the Canadian Open rolls into its next round, the storylines are stacking up fast. Eala looking to keep her incredible run alive against a battle-tested Bencic, Rybakina cruising with confidence into a clash with Samsonova, and a home crowd favorite in Fernandez riding an emotional high straight into a showdown with tennis royalty in Osaka. One thing's for sure, the drama in Toronto is only just getting started, and if Eala's match against McNally is any indication of what's to come, we are in for an absolutely wild ride.